Hello and welcome to another Quarantine Cast with Brian, Cody, and Craig.
Who?
I know that's a thing. If you're noticing, hey, there's only 2 boxes filled with goofballs. Where's everything else? Well, Craig's not here tonight. Craig is taking. I'm going to change the background back to our usual background. There it is. Craig is taking a couple weeks off now. Cody. I asked Craig today, I said, well, first of all, we're very disappointed that Craig is taking a couple weeks off, but he's got his reasons and he is coming back. That's the good news, that Craig will be back. And I said to him, well, what do you want us to tell people? Because it's going to be obvious that you're not there when it's the Quarantine Cast with Brian, Cody, and Craig. And, there's no Craig. Now it's just Brian and Cody.
Yeah. ...
Right. And where the hell is Craig? And I was shocked by his reaction. He said, tell people it's none of their damn business where I am.
Yeah.
That seemed harsh, didn't it?
Well, he doesn't want people knowing about the sex dungeon he's opening up.
Well, that's one of the rumors that he's gone in. He's pursuing other projects. That was one of the lines he said. Tell people I'm working on some other projects right now, and I will be back to the Quarantine Cast soon. I hadn't heard until you brought it up earlier. You sent me that memo. Hey, don't talk about the possible sex dungeon that Craig is opening up.
Yeah.
But then you brought it up.
Right.
So
I tend to do that. I tend to contradict myself sometimes. Well, no, I don't.
I don't want him to run into any problems with permits or anything. I don't want us to screw up the deal for him.
The sex dungeon in Wicker Park is a 403c charity, so he could just apply for that. Yeah.
Okay. So that was one. I had also heard that some fringe website had hired him to do weird food takes. They had heard some of his bad food takes on this program, and they had hired him to come up with bad food conspiracy and takes. So that might be one of the projects he's working on. I don't know if that's true. It would make sense. His food takes are, when I talked to him today, I said, I'm going to miss your food takes because they are woefully misguided.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking out of school. This is everything we say to Craig when we're on the phone.
Oh yeah. No, there's nothing I would ever say to anyone about Craig publicly or privately that I wouldn't say to his face.
Exactly.
Because we just have that kind of relationship. He expects it. We're very brutally honest with each other. Well, all of us are. We're all on, because there's no reason not to be. I don't know. We're all dudes. We don't really care about feelings and, heart. We
don't worry about that. His feelings and heart.
It's fine.
So weird. Is he making TikToks? Tom wants to know. Could be. That's another thing. We'll have to monitor TikTok and find out what's going on with him. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Well,
it just seems... I'm here, you're here, and that's both of those are good things. I don't think Craig's in jail. So for those of you who may be wondering, did he finally run afoul of the law? I don't think that's it. But it could be. We don't know. But he's taking care of some things. He will be back. That's all we know. That's all we can tell you. He knows that we miss him and we can't wait for him to come back. But other than that, the show must go on. And does that sound heartless?
No.
No? Oh, change the and to Sands, Marta says. Quarantine Cast with Brian, Cody, Sands, Craig. I like that. That, Marta. That's very good.
It's good. Did you know, fun fact, I think, do we run this on our podcast yet or no? I think, we don't remember. But on a recent episode of my podcast, Curiosity Daily, that I either edited or... I don't know. I never know what has actually aired yet because we record in advance. But we did a story about the ampersand used to be a letter of the alphabet.
Really?
Like it was an official letter of the alphabet in the early days. And we get into it, but something to do with the way that it was derived from the Latin. And in order to say like that something was a letter, you would say like and per se. I or something like you would say some weird combination of things to say like, oh, I'm saying the letter I versus like an I, my I. And it's some weird etymological stuff, but people just like truncate, juxtaposed it That's not right. People just kind of shrank it down to ampersand. So it was like the 27th letter. And then like in the 1800s or something, people just kind of stopped doing that.
I'm glad I don't need that as a letter.
No.
26
Very
letters.
long.
What are there? 26 letters in the alphabet?
Yeah. Now.
Yeah, that's plenty.
Yeah.
I don't need
Can
any more.
I brag about this just phenomenal artwork on my shirt here?
Do you like that?
This is great. This is phenomenal. This was dropped off by one Brian the Noonan, and it's a great shirt. I love it.
Do you understand what that is? I mean, I know you know the Bernie meme.
It's Bernie. It's wrestling, right?
No.
No?
That is the ladder chair that people build for their children to sit in during Mardi Gras parades. And so people take ladders and they build benches on top with railings, and some build nets into them, some have shelves, so that the kids are up above adults and they can see the parade and then they can catch things. And so they took the Bernie meme and they put him in a chair, and that's why it's green, gold, and purple, all the things. So it's kind of a Bernie inauguration Mardi Gras hybrid shirt.
That's phenomenal. That's so many memes in one. I love it.
Lot.
Yeah, well, because of the colors, the Hardy Boys, the WWE tag team, this exact shade of green and purple was like their color for all their merchandise. Really? And since they did ladder matches, I was like, is this like a pro wrestling thing? But this is even better.
I like that you think I would be able to find a pro wrestling t-shirt somewhere.
Yeah. ProWrestlingTees.com. They're based in Chicago, I believe.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow,
I don't know how I know that. I
love
love that Mike
said, either.
I love that Mike in the chat said that AE is my favorite letter. Oh, that makes me so happy. So appropriate with the Elon Musk launch today.
Is that American Eagle, the store for khakis and rugby shirts?
No.
Oh.
Wait, do you know what it is?
No.
Oh, that's part of Elon Musk's child's name.
Oh, is that right?
Remember
I do remember that Elon Musk is, insane and named his child symbols and letters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so that's part of his name. That's part of his name.
Elon and Graham named the kid XAE, that AE symbol, and then other stuff that I don't remember. I think they changed it. I don't know. But you know about the SpaceX launch today, right?
Yes.
Did you watch?
I did not watch. I did not watch. Listen, I've got one space story on my mind. I'm all about the Mars rover right now. I like watching videos from Mars. I like hearing wind from Mars. I listened to an interview with oh wow, not Mike Tyson. Who's the astrophysicist? That sounds like
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yes, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Mike Tyson's brother. Yeah, I listened to it. Obviously, I didn't listen to it very well, but I listened to an interview with him today.
Paying any attention to it? It's fine. We all it was your second screen, right? You had your phone, you had your tablet, you had your you had your Switch, your Nintendo Switch. You were playing games and you were watching it.
No, it was actually an audio interview, and I just had that tab open, and I was doing other things because I am want to do other things. Mm-hmm. But yes, so no, I did not watch I know Elon is doing all sorts of things with the space and the X and the rockets, and I did see the story about the space hotel that's going to open pretty soon.
What?
Not pretty soon. You didn't see the space hotel story?
No.
Oh my goodness! It looks like a big Ferris wheel. It almost looks like something out of Wall-E. I think they're saying it's going to open in 2027. So yeah, a world's first space hotel expected to open in 2027. And it does. It looks like a giant Ferris wheel or like a flywheel kind of thing. And I can't wait. I can't wait to get overcharged for now. The artist renderings make it look lovely. It looks like something out of Star Trek or something. And, everybody's got, they got beautiful rooms, and, all the rooms have a view. That's the nice thing about the space hotel. Unless it's like the Titanic and there's steerage rates too. Oh, sure, you can come and stay in the space hotel, but, you can only afford the interior rooms with no view. But that's when they do like they do on a Disney cruise, where they just put a fake porthole in your room, and it makes you think that you're looking out into space, but you're not. It's very sad.
Yeah, I don't want to go to that unless I'm like the first person, because
Because everybody in those rooms is going to be having crazy space sex.
there's that, and also like who's gonna clean it, right? Like who are the
Space
cleaning
slaves.
crews?
Robots.
Robots,
like in the Jetsons. Didn't you ever watch the Jetsons?
I did.
Rosie the robot.
Marge? Rosie, right?
Rosie was a robot maid, so it will be staffed by robots, and they will. I hope they all wear maids outfits. Sally wants to know, how much money do you need? My guess, a lot.
Yeah.
You're not going to go on Trivago and get a good deal on a space room.
Well, it's going to be one of those things where it's like they can charge whatever they want because they know that people, it's going to be their Hail Mary, like, oh, I'm going to max out my credit card and dump all my life savings in it because, whatever.
It's your bucket list. You're going to space. Going to get a single room in space. I'm going to upgrade to the suite.
No one's going to do that.
What are you drinking? Somebody, Mike wanted to know, Tom wanted to know what you were drinking tonight.
Just Edmund Fitzgerald. This is my last one from Great Lakes Brewing Company. It's a good porter.
Great Lakes makes good product.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I am a fan of Great Lakes.
Yeah.
I tonight am feeling fancy, and I am going with red wine in a Waterford crystal glass.
Ooh, a Waterford crystal glass.
That's right. This is a Cape Red, Western Cape Vineyards. It is a selection of red variants, and it is from South Africa. South Africa, hence the beautiful label with the elephant and the Cape Red. So wine of origin, Western Cape, wine of South Africa. There you go. It's a red blend because I'm fancy.
You are, and you're a blend of many things, Brian. You're a blend of a home maker, a
risk taker, love maker, booty shaker, grass raker,
human being.
Wow, that didn't rhyme. I thought we were going for the rhyme all the time.
We were going for it, but
didn't work out.
Didn't. Do I have to sing when I drink it? I don't know the words to the Edmund Fitzgerald song. I know the song, but I don't know. I know the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. It doesn't go like that.
Not at all. That's not even close to how it goes.
Not even a little bit. But I don't know. I don't know the words, or I would. I could sing.
You don't know about the big lake they call Gitchy Goomy?
I could. I could sing. I could. Gitchy Goomy. What is that?
That's one of the first lines of the song. On the big lake they call Gitchy Goomy.
Oh no, but I could do the.
Ship was the pride of the American side.
I actually see the lyrics on the label. So they're actually printed here. Government warning, according to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy because of the risk of birth defects. It's a weird song.
It's weird that that song made it to the top 10.
Yeah.
That's just odd. Those are bad lyrics.
Very bad lyrics.
People may be wondering why you're so energetic.
Me?
Yeah.
Am I?
Because you had a big day on Saturday.
I'm not energetic whatsoever. What are you talking about? I'm very low energy.
That was a segue. Why'd you poop all over the segue? Just took a big segue dump. You just
I didn't know it was a segue. Your segues are legendary in the biz. I always compliment you and call out your segues because calling out segues make them better.
Right. I did one the other night on TMJ, and the producer was like, "Whoa, that was good." It was another one of my legendary "Where did that come from?" segues.
One of my favorite.
What it was about, but that was it.
One of my favorite things to do on your show was yell, "Nice transition, Brian," when you made a nice transition. And I don't know if anyone else found it as funny as me, but it was one of my favorite things to yell. And then you always would say thank you and then just go right into it. It was good.
I would actually be disappointed if you wouldn't, because they're so blatant. I mean, there's nothing subtle about them at all. They are the most ham-handed segues in the history of the business. That's probably the only way I'm going to get into the Radio Hall of Fame is because my segues are legendary. And by legendary, I mean you and I think they're funny.
They're very funny. They're very good. But anyway, how's that for a segue?
It was a great segue. But I have to answer Roger. Roger thinks someone got a haircut. Who do you think got a haircut, Roger? I did not get a haircut. My hair is My hair is unwieldy. I did the math today. Normally in a regular year, I would have gotten 16 to 17 haircuts.
That many?
Yes, because I would get my haircut every 3 weeks
Ugh.
with the crew cut.
Ugh.
I've had in this calendar year, one haircut.
Roger, I think he was joking.
I don't know.
But he played it so straight, I actually don't know anymore.
Oh, he thinks you got a haircut, Cody. That's what it says in the chat.
Have you never looked at me before? Brian, I like all of my hair is gone. Wait, are you are you being serious right now?
Roger put in the comments he got a haircut.
Yeah, no, I got a haircut. I definitely got a haircut. How did you not know this?
Well, Brian, because you have your headphones on and your hair is spiked up.
My hair hasn't been spiked up in the 3 weeks because I've had to comb it over because there's so much of it. No, my wife.
Where'd you get your haircut?
My wife.
Your wife cut your hair with a Flowbee?
No, we do not cheat and use Flobies. No, Roger, you nailed it. No, it's this. Are you kidding? I was I thought you would comment and be like, "Oh, Cody's hair is defying gravity."
I thought your hair looked nice, but what am I? What is this? Some weird fashion show where we're going to comment on each other's hair?
Ted Koppel. Let's comment on each other's hair. I don't know why I said Ted Koppel, but
he had bad hair. Ted Koppel.
Did he?
Everybody thought, now, all right, take your headphones off so we can see the sides. If I saw the whole, oh yeah, now I can tell you got a haircut or your ears lowered. Good morning. It's 1957. Yes. Now with your headphones off, I definitely can tell you had a haircut.
Oh, I wish I had sunglasses next to me. That would have been that way cooler. But yeah, thank you. My wife cut my hair. Actually several times in the last week. It was especially so Saturday. We'll get into Saturday, but Saturday I was at my parents' house briefly, and I did look in the mirror in the bathroom at some point. Since I've gotten out of my 20s for many years now, I rarely look at myself in the mirror. I don't know if that's normal. Did that happen to you?
No, I have to look in the mirror to see where all the errant hairs are now growing out of. I spent 20 minutes yesterday taking hairs out of places they shouldn't be.
Oh God. Okay.
And I'm talking above the waist. Wink, wink.
Okay. So anyway, I looked in the mirror and I was just like, this is unconscionable. I had to end it. So
I'm getting to that point myself because now I've got a lot of stuff in it to keep it down, but it's way down on my neck and it's curling up. And there's some days where I go, man, I kind of like the wavy, and now it's the salt and peppery kind of deal. But if you saw me in the morning, you would be terrified because all of this stuff that I have keeping my hair down, well, when it's not, it's out. I look like some sort of psychotic, like they just did electroshock on me and then sent me on my way. It's not good. So I'm debating if I need to get if I do, and what do I do with it? It's a whole thing.
Keep it in a Ziploc bag.
What, the hair or my head?
Yeah, you said, what do you do with it? Put it in a Ziploc bag when you cut off the hair. And then that way you can save it in case you want it back later.
Oh, I'm not worried about what I'll do with the hair. I'm just worried that I'm worried about what style. I don't know, if I need to wear, I don't know, just keep it like this, but shorter, trim it up in the back, thin it out. I don't know.
I got to say,
This is why I stayed. I stayed with the same haircut for over 30 years just because I didn't want to have to worry about it. I didn't have to deal with it. I didn't have to take 10 minutes in the shower, rinsing shampoo out of my hair.
Yeah.
I didn't have to have all kinds of product and a brush. I just got up. I got up the same way I went to bed. I looked exactly the same, for better or worse. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. Now I get up, and before I even get out of bed, I have to run my hands through my hair to kind of mat it back, and so I don't scare Debbie and the dogs will recognize me when I come downstairs. It's horrifying.
Yeah. It looks way longer in person too.
It's crazy long in person.
Yeah. So the listeners don't get treated to that. Although I haven't seen you recently, though I missed you yesterday. You dropped off the shirt and I missed your text.
Here's what's funny. You're a guy who's in the communication business. That's what you do for your job. That's what you do for fun. Yeah. I texted you twice. I didn't hear back from you. So, and I was out near your house. So I thought, okay, I'm going to drop it off. But as a guy who remembers what it's like when there's an infant in the house, I wasn't going to come up and knock on the. I even emailed you after I left. I texted you, then I emailed you after I left, and your front door was kind of partially open too. So I was like, but I didn't want to knock or ring the bell because if the baby was asleep, I didn't want to be that, the guy who just does a pop in and wakes up the baby. So I figured it was easier to just leave it on the porch. But then when you didn't answer the text for hours, I was like, oh my God, Cody's dead. Maybe the door's open because someone had gone in and slaughtered the whole family, and I could have stopped it had I knocked on the door, but I was trying to be considerate. Little did I know someone was in there murdering them. The ultimate inconsiderate act.
Very inconsiderate.
Yes. So it just would have been, I don't know. The whole thing went crazy.
I would say, ring anytime because you're not going to wake up our baby because our baby doesn't nap or doesn't like napping. There's
napping?
Very low chance our baby is actually napping.
Is he hoping that someone will knock on the door so there's a visitor? Please let me see someone else. These two are driving me crazy.
I'm hoping I have something to distract me from trying to get him to take a nap. So welcome anytime.
He doesn't get tired. He doesn't hit the wall and just, not literally, but he doesn't physically just hit the wall and go, okay, if we could get him to lay down for a second, he'll be out.
No, he hits walls literally all the time. I mean, he's a mobile baby. He actually, the other day, this is like Friday, I think. I don't remember what day it was. Maybe it was Monday. It doesn't matter. Recently, he's crawling. We have a stone fireplace that's on the floor. It's not raised. And he's obsessed with this stone. He's obsessed with textures. All he does is take his hand and touch pillows and carpet and just
yeah, he's learning. It's all brand new.
All day. But the number one thing he likes to touch is this stone fireplace. Well, apparently he face planted. He pushed himself up and he kind of face planted on it.
Oh no.
And it gave him a little bloody nose. He didn't cut himself. So it wasn't 30 seconds after this happened, he's laughing and doesn't care because he's a baby and that's what they do. But my wife brought him upstairs and she's like, oh, he hit the thing. And I come out and there he is, crying. But there's this just stream of blood out of the one nostril. And I was like, I'm traumatized for life. That's the most traumatizing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, you don't want to see your infant child bloodied.
Like I said, he's fine.
Who panicked more, you or your lovely wife?
Neither of us panicked, but the visual was so horrifyingly I don't know. I texted my parents and I was just like, I don't know how you did this with four of us who constantly were hurting ourselves.
Yeah.
I still have a scar from when I was little from my wife busted my face, went to the ER for no reason.
Right here.
Yeah. So
yeah. Now, are you finding that as long as you and Casey keep calm, he'll calm down quicker? Because usually if the parents freak out, the babies see them freak out and then they freak out more. And then it's a vicious circle of,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope he absorbs our moods because we're generally in really good. We're just happy people.
Yeah, that's what I hate about you two.
We're generally happy people. We don't. I'm pretty good under. I can keep my cool under pressure if I need to. So I think we'll be fine. But I don't think we have to consciously make a thing of it. Did you ever have any major injuries with your daughter growing up?
There was the time where she was in a bounce house and her tooth caught on the rope and popped her front tooth right out. That was a bad one. There were other falls and things and times when she was sick or she'd be throwing up throughout in the middle of the night. You just hear a blood curdling scream and then there's vomit everywhere and you're like, oh boy. And I, back then I was not the calm, balanced man that I'm evolving into.
Oh, I know.
And being awakened out of a dead sleep by screams, you don't wake up calm. You just hear, it's like, what the? Oh, Molly's throwing up everywhere. Dad, I'm throwing up everywhere. I'm like, well, get in the bathroom. What are you doing? And then, a couple times she was old enough to know, but a kid wakes up Same way. They're sound asleep. All of a sudden they feel like they're going to throw up. They just start throwing up. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it was like I was raising Linda Blair every once in a while. It's just horrible. Tom wants to know if we're giving anything up for Lent. Marta thinks bad jokes. We'll never give up bad jokes, Marta.
No.
It's our bread and butter. We give up bad jokes. What are we going to do? Comment on the news? Just be blowhards? No.
More like,
go ahead.
More like that's our bread and olive oil.
Okay. We'll let that one sit there for a little while. For those of you listening at home, you're probably thinking that the Quarantine Cast went off the air. It did not. It probably should have after that last joke that made absolutely no sense from Cody, who has now left his broadcast perch. Let's see. Sally says, "Oh wait, broken arm, tooth knocked out, sprained ankle. It's busy kids." The baby. Oh, Roger said that the baby was calling 911 because you two weren't panicking. Wait, before we get on to the rest of Saturday, so you looked in the mirror and you realized you needed a haircut. Now your wife has a lot of different skills. She does a lot of things. Stylist is not on her resume as far as I know. How did it come to her to handle your coif?
I'm paranoid and cheap. And she did a really good job last time. It was right before Christmas. Yeah. So, probably about 4 months ago, let's say, when I reached a point. And remember, I think I talked about it briefly on the Quarantine Cast, but I was very, very proud of myself because I didn't look up any tutorials or anything. I was just like, I've got my hair from pretty much the same 3 stylists for the last 7 years. I see what they do. I'm not I don't have my eyes closed the whole time. I generally know. And so I know you get the hair wet, you comb it all down, straight down, and then you take a part in the middle and you comb that straight back. Just this, this width in the middle, let's say,
right,
of the few inches. So that goes straight back. The rest, the sides go down, and then you just cut over the ears. And then she would kind of trim from there. And then she would just take the top and snip at a couple angles and then just eyeball the rest of it. And I'm making it sound simple, and I respect hairstylists, and I know that you have a hard job and you're way better at it than my wife and I are. But the general gist of it, especially when no one's seeing me in person.
I was going to say the beauty is you never leave the house.
Yeah, so it's whatever. But she does a good enough job, and what the heck, I'm used to getting $30 haircuts. I don't do just a generic buzz cut or anything. I have a stylist because I have to be,
I know, that's my thing. I went to, I was always going to old school barbers where it was $15 or $19. And some tip money, you're out of there for under $25.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Somebody said I had to go back to New Orleans. That girl in New Orleans. It's funny, when we were down there a few weeks ago, Molly said, "Are you going to go get your hair cut?" I said, "No, why?" "Well, I just thought you talked about that the woman across the street so often." I go, "Yeah, that was for the show, Molly. I was telling the story. Not that she did a bad job, but I had a coupon last time."
True.
Because I can't see paying, and I know ladies pay a lot of money to get their hair cut. I can't see paying $50 to get my hair cut.
I definitely have.
I know. And that's the thing. I never have. So now it's okay, maybe, I could probably just go to a barber because I think I'm just going to keep it like this, only, trimmed up and short, pull it in a little bit.
What if you tried my hairstyle? My wife could do it.
Your hairstyle? I don't have the hairline. You have your hairline goes straight across. Mine, as you see, is,
it?
Yeah, mine's kind of, I got the peak. Who knows?
Roger says in the chat, he used to cut his own hair for 40 years and still uses electric shears. What if Roger cut your hair? There's an episode.
If Roger cut my hair, I would have him not only cut my hair, but after it was over, I would have him just go right across the carotids.
How's this? Hats. Yeah. Have you thought about becoming a hat guy?
I love wearing hats. All my hats now are too snug because when I got them, I didn't have hair. So they all fit my almost bald head.
Well, you can't stretch them out.
Huh?
You can't stretch them out?
I mean, some. I don't know.
What kind of hats are we talking about?
I like fedoras. I like caps. I like a nice, occasionally a ball cap style.
Okay.
Not all the time. Never backwards anymore because
Okay.
I'm old. But yeah, I have some hats. I like even my winter hats, like my stocking caps. Now, some of them are not. Now they'll ride up because I have hair. Where they used to just lay flat down on my head, on my noggin. I would encase my noggin in hat.
I have some hat ideas. How about we try lids?
Lids, the store in the mall?
Yeah.
For what? Some flat brims?
Flat brim with the sticker on sideways. It could be a good look.
Well, it's a look.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't think it would be a good look.
Okay.
I think the flat brim after 30, unless you are in the music business, is a mistake.
What if you're Steve Buscemi?
I still think it's a mistake. I think because Steve Buscemi may only be 50, but he looks 78. And a 78-year-old man in a flat brim hat just doesn't, with the big sticker, it's like, Steve, we know you got money. We don't need to know that you, have a 47 brand on your hat. That doesn't make any sense to me anyway, leaving the tag on the hat.
Oh, it makes all the sense.
I mean,
fashion forward.
The flat brim is a style look. I'm not gonna argue with the flat brim. It's not for me. But leaving the tags on the hat, I look at those people and I think they're Minnie Pearl, which is, I know, a very old reference from a very old country singer who left a tag. That was her thing. She left her tag hanging off her hat, her fancy Easter-like bonnet. She left her tag. So Minnie Pearl did that, and that's when I see somebody doing that, I'm like, did you forget to take that off? Because it's not unique. Every hat has one of those on it, and it looks stupid.
All right, other hat ideas.
There's my hot hat take.
That's fine. No, when I first saw it, I thought it, 20. It's been around for a minute, right? When they first started putting the labels on hats, I'm like, this is dumb. They did it. Everyone did it. My high school did it, and I was like, this is dumb. And then now it's just normal because it's been around for so long. Here's another idea. How about, I think you could pull off a good cowboy hat.
I wore cowboy hats for a long time. I had winter cowboy hat. I had a nice felt one. I had straw cowboy hats.
Go back to the cowboy hat.
It's not that I don't like hats. It's now I have to, either I have to go back to, I got to get my hair cut a little bit.
No, the haircut's less relevant if you wear a hat.
Well, then I got to buy new hats.
This is what I'm saying.
Other hat, I need to go get some new hats. I have my jester hat. Maybe if we do the quarantine cast on St. Patrick's Day, I'll wear my green derby. Okay. So I have a nice derby. I've been looking at a purple top hat for Mardi Gras wear. So, oh yeah, nice, purple top hat. So I like hats, and I like a good cowboy hat. Like I said, I went through a big cowboy phase years ago. I wore boots for years and years. I loved wearing cowboy boots. I had a duster, a couple
nice
hats, Oh yeah, I was like the urban cowboy. And it was well after urban cowboy and stuff. That was not the reason. But because I started going to country bars in college. And so I got some boots then, and then I kept wearing boots. I liked that. And then I got a duster because I thought it was cool. So that was it. What can I tell you?
I think you should lean back in the hats. Right. I think there are
all
a lot
the time.
Of hats.
Am I going to be that guy who wears hats inside too?
You could be the next Craig.
Craig does wear a hat all the time.
He does wear a hat all the time.
And he has hair.
Some
guys wear hats to try to fool you that they have hair when they don't. Craig has hair.
Yeah. I've known a few people like that. What if you, with the hats?
Yes. Back to hats.
Right. Well, we never
left hats.
Never really departed.
I'm looking over here. I have a shelf of hats right over here.
You have a shelf of hats. All right. You're really, I can't believe this.
Did I have a shelf of hats?
That you've hidden this aspect of yourself.
Well, I'm looking at, I have like a bucket adventurer's hat, a big hat for when I'm in the sun that also, it's one of those big wide ones and the brim snaps up so it could look svelty. Got one of those. I got a couple straw fedoras. I've got 3 different caps. I've got a bunch of baseball hats. Yeah.
This is extraordinary. All right, so you're set. I wore baseball hats occasionally in high school, but that was when my hair was long. I didn't do the spiked up thing until college, and then after that, I stopped wearing hats, including like winter hats altogether, because I got to keep my my volume
you
up.
Can't have hat hair. That's crazy.
Before my wife cut my hair 4 months ago, my hair got so bad I literally wouldn't join like a Zoom call and turn on video for work. So I actually took all my gel and I slicked my hair straight back so I could hide it, and I put a baseball cap over it. I think I did a couple of episodes of this show. I wore a Shark Week hat, and my wife was totally freaked out by it. She's like, I don't understand you in a hat. Like I can't. She couldn't like process it.
And I can't with Craig. I can't process him without the hat.
Right.
Because I think the amount of times I've seen Craig without a hat, I can count on one hand. And one of those times was at your wedding.
Yeah. He didn't wear a hat at my wedding. Now I'm kind of offended.
Did not wear a hat at your wedding. I thought he would get a nice dress black, one of those Yankees caps where the letters are black too. So everything looked formal, but he didn't.
Right. Well, there's always next time.
So your next wedding.
Sure.
Next wedding is going to be more casual. I don't cotton to, I'll go to somebody's second wedding, but I'm not going to get as dressed up.
I have one other hat, a reco for you. How about a fez?
How about a fez? I'm sorry, I was listening to you and I was trying to read Roger's message.
Goodbye, Roger.
Goodbye, Roger. Thanks. Good to see you. I don't know. Things are looking up.
He always ducks out
Things
early.
To look up and make estimates.
Do you think he gets bored of the show or of us? Like he can only handle 30 minutes?
Probably.
Or like
he likes to come in and have people go, "Oh, Roger's here," and then he disappears. Maybe we'll have Roger back one of these weeks that Craig's not here.
We could do that. He's so used to jumping in every 20 minutes of the news break that if he listens for 40, his brain just short circuits and he's like, must leave, cannot do news. And then he closes the window and then he just pulls up his news thing and he's just like 73 degrees at O'Hare, 64 degrees at Midway.
I'm Roger Badish from the WGN News Center.
News Center?
I don't know what they call it now. The WGN Newsroom, the award-winning WGN News bunker.
No idea.
I'm guessing it's a newsroom, news center, news hub.
News Nation.
News to you.
I have no idea.
Gene suggests a hat with ear flaps a la Fargo. I have one. I have one downstairs. Winter hat. It's called the Mad Bomber hat. It's I got all kind of hats.
This guy's the Mad Hatter over here. Aside of you, I never knew the Jester hat is so you. You should just wear that all the time.
I do like the Jester hat.
Really?
I enjoy it. Yeah, I enjoy the Jester hat. I had a German kind of Oktoberfest little hat that I was wearing. I was wearing in October sometimes. Yeah. How did you not know? Have I never worn hats around you?
You have. I don't have it. I wish I had a hat in here. I don't have any hats in here.
If you'd like, I'll put a hat on for the rest of the show. If you'd like.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
All right. Because as I said, I have a whole shelf of hats right over there, just off camera over there.
Yeah.
They're over there. All right. So let's get to Saturday because Saturday was a big day. What are you looking for?
The hats. Yeah.
Oh, they're over there.
They're over there.
Yeah. I think the other way for you.
No. Because you're on this side of me.
Am I? Oh yeah.
I'm looking at your like if I reach, I do the thing where I reach over and then my arm appears in your camera.
Oh yeah, like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler at the Golden Globes.
God, I look emaciated in this camera angle. My arm is, I swear to God, I have muscle in this arm. It looks a lot better in person.
What happened?
That was horrific.
Right? That was something horrific. Going on? Do you need to share something?
Yeah, cameras.
Medical issue?
Cameras are bad.
Alex, I'll have to put the Jester hat on later. That's down in the basement in the Mardi Gras box, but I will April, let's see. Are we on? We're on the 31st of March. That's a day. So I'll wear it in advance of April Fool's Day. In fact, if you look back at last year's April 1st QuarantineCast, I think I had the Jester hat on. I think.
Probably.
There's pictures. Look it up. All right. So Saturday was a very big day.
It was.
It was. Why? Why was Saturday a big day for you? You previewed it a little last week at the end.
I did. I got my first vaccine dose of the vaccine. You know what I'm talking about. I got the Pfizer one, I believe. Which one
That's
did
what
you
I
get?
got, baby. The Pfizer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pfizer.
Did it feel like somebody punched you in the arm hard?
Not a little bit, but not very long. That was the only side effect I had after the first one was just a little pain right where they gave me the shot, like for a day.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, when I got the flu vaccine, let's say in October, tetanus shot booster or whatever in December. That one, and they say, you could have some soreness around the muscle area where they inject it. A flu vaccine, nothing. It was like maybe a little itchy the next day. Yeah. No big deal. Tetanus, I don't know, maybe a tiny bit sore, but no big deal. The COVID one, like the day after I got the COVID one, I was like, damn, it feels like somebody like punched me in the arm. But whatever. I'd rather have that than die. So for anyone listening, for the love of God, don't let a little soreness in the arm for like a couple hours the next day stop you from getting this vaccine. It's not an acceptable excuse.
So how did it go? What was it? What was the procedure? Where did you get it? I know you left town. You went up to Winnebago County to the lovely burg of Rockford.
Yeah, hopped over to Rockford.
How'd you manage that?
I mean, well, I have.
Did they check your ID? Because you didn't have to live in Winnebago County to get it up there? No, I'm glad you got it, first of all. I don't care.
Yeah, thank you. You can get anywhere in the state as long as you live in the state. At least as far as I know, nobody told me otherwise. So yeah, just friends and family helping me check the Walgreens appointments. Sandy in the chat saying the first Pfizer didn't hurt at all. No soreness. Good for you. I'm glad. I'm really glad. And it didn't hurt Brian. It's whatever. It's a little different for everybody.
Different.
But it's not, like I said, it's not unbearable.
You're able to use your arm?
I was able to use my arm.
Then I think you're all right.
I use my left arm. I'm right-handed. We're in Rockford. It was the Walgreens. I think the ones on, I don't remember if it was Charles Street or Alpine, come to think of it. I know Rockford. I'm from there. My parents live there, but I literally just popped in the GPS directions because it's not a Walgreens I usually go to because I usually go to one on Alpine, but it was a different one. So, yeah, but anyway, it was in Rockford. So, thank you, Marta. Yeah, you don't have to live in the area where you get the vaccine. So yeah, I just, made the appointment online. Actually, someone with my login info, close family member, made the appointment online, which I think is allowed.
Yes.
Because I'm eligible. What the heck? And I'm the one that went, put in my info, got the appointments. Walgreens sent a couple emails. They're like, be here Saturday. Come for the follow-up one on the 31st, I think I'm getting it, or the 29th or something. It's at the end of the month I'm getting it. 28th or 29th or somewhere in there. I don't know. But yeah, last week in the month I'm going to go back to a different Walgreens in Rockford. But yeah, popped right in, filled out a little bit of paperwork. You do fill out a form. It's like you check a few boxes saying like basically I'm eligible, and then there's a sheet that's just kind of like a cheap generic Excel spreadsheet table. You can tell if you use Excel a lot. It's like 2 rows across and it's like 5 down, and it's like, do you have are you advanced age? Do you have chronic condition? Do you have this? It's like the 4 criteria that make you eligible.
Right.
And then you just check one of the boxes and then that makes you do it. But they didn't they didn't ask me to prove that I'm diabetic or anything like that. They didn't look at me funny. They were really nice. They were just chill. I waited like 2 minutes and then someone came out. They're like, we're going to give it to you. They like you to wait around for 10, 15 minutes just to make sure there are no side effects. But I've never had an adverse reaction from a vaccine. I was like, how about I split the difference? I'll wait 5 minutes. My wife is in the car. She's going to drive me. So I'll just hop in the car. And if we get 10 minutes away and I start to have some crazy reaction, we'll just pop back and, I'll be fine. So it was fine. But
that's good.
It was easy peasy. You barely feel it. I mean,
that's true. You do barely feel it.
Yeah, and I'm really good with shots. To be fair, I'm diabetic, so I prick my finger a lot and literally squeeze blood out of my finger to test my blood sugar. So there's that, but even without that, it's whatever. It's just a tiny little beep, and then you're good.
Yeah.
So everyone try to get it. It'd be nice.
Yeah, it was Saturday. So Saturday you got your first. And Saturday, my mom and I got our second.
You got your second. That's right. Because you texted me and you were like, oh, let's talk vaccines. And I was like, wait, you got yours like a month ago.
No, I got my second one on Saturday. So I'm good to go. Well, in another another week. I'll be revved up. But I got scared because we went to the same, now we went through Cook County, and I had made the initial appointment for my mom, and then I got one for myself. And so we went. The first one, no problem. We get in there, everything was fine. But at that point, they weren't making your second shot at the time you got your first. So they gave you a different site, and we went on, and it took a while to get this, because I'd gotten one for like this coming Saturday, and my mom was panicking because it was out of the 21 to 28 day window. And then I kept refreshing the sites, and I ended up getting us one for last Saturday. So that was 28 days. We were good to go. I got there, and I had printed out the confirmations for both of us that had our QR code and everything on there. And we got there. Now, last time we went, they had taped off chairs, so you couldn't sit in certain spots. This time they didn't. It was kind of wide open, but people were doing a pretty good job of not sitting next to each other unless they'd come together and that. So my mom sits down, and there was no seat around her I felt comfortable that I was far enough away from somebody. So I was standing, and the National Guards woman who was checking people in came over, and she's like, what was my mom's first name? And then she calls my mom and my first name because we were on the same sheet. And I'm like, yeah. She goes, when was your appointment? And I was like, it's today here. And I pulled out my paperwork, and I had highlighted our names and the dates of the appointment time. She's like, 27th, huh? And I go, yeah, that's today, right? She goes, yeah, it's today. I just can't find you. And I'm like, oh no. What if oh no. I can't. And thankfully my mom was sitting far enough away that she couldn't hear what was going on. And she's looking over, and I'm waving her off. I'm like, don't worry about it. So I was panicked. Well, then the woman never came back. So I thought, okay, that must be a good sign. She never comes back. But we get in there, and they go, oh, after the woman had checked our names to see if I was, who we were, they come out and they go, oh, folks, our computer system is down. Just crashed. We're not going to be able to do anything. Hopefully we'll have it up soon. And you could feel the audible, or you could hear the gasp in the room, like, oh. People were just, So then somebody else came out a few minutes later. Oh, folks, we're working on it. Thank you for your patience. And some guy goes, do you have any idea how long it's going to be? And the woman was like, well, we've just rebooted it, so it should be about 5 minutes. 5 minutes is nothing. My mom, when we were going there, she goes, well, what if we have to wait? And I said, so where do you have to be today?
Right.
I had nowhere
to go anywhere till you get it.
Right. You can't go anywhere. Just relax. I have nowhere to be. So I'm not going to be upset. I'm waiting till they call my name. And so we go in, and, they call your name, you go back, and now they've got another table with like 4 National Guardsmen at computers. And they're the ones who are actually checking you in. And they get they want your card. Don't lose that card with your first shot on there. Hang on to that card because they want it. So they take the card, and then he's looking, and he's having a hard time. And he's like, how do you spell your last name? Now I'm looking, my mom's at another National Guards, but she's already done. So I'm like, okay, we must be in the system because my mom's already going to sit in the chair. And I spell my last name, and he's looking at it. Oh, okay, there you are. Oh, geez, okay. After that, it was fine. Now, unlike you, the National Guard don't let you just wander off. They've got a guy. His whole job is to monitor what's going on.
Oh, wow.
So he starts a clock on you the minute the needle goes in your arm. And 15 minutes, you got to wait. So they have the section where there's National Guardsmen, the medics sitting at the tables, giving you the shot. Then they send you over to another area where there's spaced out chairs, and they sit. And then the National Guard medic comes around, and after a couple minutes, oh, what's your name? Brian Noonan. How you feeling? Okay. He goes, all right. I'll check back. And they make you wait the 15 minutes. Then they come around. He's looking at his watch. Okay. Mr. Noonan? Go, yep. How you feel? Pretty good. Okay, you can go. And that was it. And we were done. And there is a feeling of lightness that comes over you when you leave. Now, I know that I still have to wear a mask. I still have to social distance. but I know I can't get.
You won't die.
I'm not going to get seriously sick and end up in the hospital.
Yeah.
But then my focus shifted to Debbie because she, like you, is diabetic. Well, forget it. There's no shots in Cook County. We tried Winnebago County. I didn't know you were going to Walgreens. I tried all the Walgreens around here. You know, I went on the Walgreens thing. Nothing. No, the Cook County site, big banner on top. No more vaccines in Cook County. So I try Sunday and Monday. I'm working on it. And Monday morning, I was like, you know what? Let me try this ZocDoc. I've heard people say they're booking things on ZocDoc.
I don't know what that is. I've never heard of it.
It's a website where they have, not everybody's on it, but you can book like, they have like the urgent cares on there, and they have some Walgreens on there. They different things on ZocDoc. So I go on and nothing, but I just keep refreshing, and Debbie's downstairs, and we had a tiny dust up because I was like, how old are you? Because I had the two ages. I couldn't, because her birthday's in July. So I didn't know if she was turning. I don't want to say her age, but I know how old I am. And I know technically her birthday is 2 years behind my birthday. But I wasn't sure if it was that or one less. And I asked her, and she didn't know. She goes, I don't know. How do you not know how old you are? I go, I said, I know your birthday. I know her social security number. I know her driver's license number. It was either her age either ended in a 5 or a 6, because I know what mine is, or a 4 or a 5. Anyway, then I'm like, I think I got you an appointment. I need to log on. What's your, and at one point I go, this is like working with my mother, where and it turns out she already had an account on ZocDoc. But by the time I get this figured out, that appointment's gone. There's nothing. But you know me, I'm like fixated now, because in order for me to be comfortable going out and doing things work-wise and everything else, I have to be confident that I'm not going to get Debbie sick.
Right.
So I can't go, I worried about my mom for the same reason. I can't get them sick, and I don't want them to get sick. So I'm still on there, and I'm eating my bowl of Special K, and I'm on ZocDoc, and I'm refreshing. And all of a sudden, somebody must have canceled an appointment, because one pops up at a hospital at 1:30, and I quick book it. Boom, boom, boom. Now, the nice thing is Debbie works from home, and she can, be a little flexible. And so I walk downstairs. I go, tell them at work you need to take some time off. I got you an appointment at 1:30. I'll drive you. I'll just drop you in front. We're going. And so we did. And she got vaccinated, and they made her second appointment. They made her second appointment. She gets her second one on the 22nd. And hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I am so happy for both of you. That's so
good.
I'm
happy for you, because that's a huge worry. Now she has like a monitor on her left arm, on her arm, that it's a Bluetooth blood sugar reader kind of
continuous glucose monitor.
Well, it doesn't do the injection.
Yeah, it's a monitor. Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, it's a monitor.
Continuous glucose. You can put it in your arm.
Like a wafer kind of deal?
Yeah, it's tiny. I'd show you mine, but I'd have to jump really high.
But hers is up in her left arm, so they had to give her the shot in her right arm.
Mm.
And she said she was sore, and then Monday night, she got chills for a little bit. But by Tuesday morning, she was fine. And she got Pfizer as well.
Nice.
She was like, oh, I'm glad I got the same one as you. I was like, oh, okay, why? Well, I don't know. I'm just glad I got the same one as you. I'm like, good. Listen, I'm glad you got any of them. I don't care. Yep. And listen, as a guy who raised Catholic, went to 12 years of Catholic school, I don't care what the cardinals say. Have you heard that? The Council of Cardinals are saying you shouldn't get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine because somewhere in the past they used cells from aborted fetuses to make some sort of vaccines. Hogwash. Get the vaccine. Whatever vaccine you're offered, get it. Take it. Here's my take on it. I know Craig usually talks religion. That's Craig's segment. The Craig talks Catholic Talk with Craig. I wish you were here to add to this. I I would tell anybody who's doubted that, God probably wants you to live. So
Probably. Yeah.
take the vaccine. And quite frankly, I find it a bit hypocritical that the Cardinals are going to, they've got bigger fish to fry. No Friday Lenten pun intended. Clean your own house. Worry about what's going on and what things are getting stuck in other places besides the needle that's going into somebody's arm that'll save their life. And the Pope, yes, Sally says the Pope said it's fine. The Pope did say it's fine, and he the boss.
Yeah.
He's the Tony Soprano of the whole deal.
I have family that's more active in the Catholic Church, like very active, and they've said there's been a bit of turmoil in some of the Illinois dioceses with like a lot of politics jumping in and like a lot of like very regressive political ideas, stuff like very, I mean, like, right, this is all hearsay. I don't know exactly what was said, but very like anti-vax stuff, some like explicitly like anti-Biden stuff, which like that's
in the
separation
Catholic
of church and state doesn't just mean that the state doesn't talk about the church. Like the church really should kind of stay out of that stuff. So, but yeah, I guess that's like kind of a thing happening right now.
There's a lot of weird things.
Yeah, I would love to get involved with the church out here. That was my whole plan. But obviously, when a pandemic, I would like to get my son baptized as soon as like things are normal. And he might be a year old, but what the heck? Better late than never.
Want me to do it? I married you guys. I could probably baptize him too.
Not in the Catholic Church. They've got that locked down. I'm not even married in the Catholic Church. We still have to do our Catholic ceremony.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, they don't think I'm, I'm liturgical.
No. Legally married. So that's pretty nice.
That's really all that matters. Listen, you live a good life. Here's my thinking on it. You live a good life. You treat people well. You're a good family man. You seem to live a life by the teachings that we're supposed to live by. The bureaucracy and all the other stuff kind of makes it hard to back the religious industrial complex. Now, I'm all for religion. I think if people are religious, that's fine. I think people can be spiritual. I think you can have a relationship. I think in the end, it all comes down to how you treat other people and how you go through life. That's really the bottom line. If you're a good human being, if you try, if you're not screwing people over, if you basically follow the 10 commandments and the golden rule, you're doing all right, and I think all that supersedes the pageantry and the incense and whatever trappings that your religion has, whatever rituals, things like that, and at a time, it always bothered me too. Here's why it ties in. And man, I didn't think we were going down this road, but here we go. It always bothered me. It bothers me now that the church is telling people not to get a certain kind of vaccine. When we've had 500,000 people, more than that, die.
Yeah.
We've got people in the hospital. Now things are getting better. They're getting better because people are paying attention to all the safety measures. People are getting vaccinated. More vaccinations are rolling out. The big announcement yesterday from the president was that it looks like there will be enough vaccine between these three to get every adult vaccinated by the end of May. That's earlier than they thought, and that's fantastic.
Mid-May, if you consider nobody in Texas is probably going to get it.
Well, yeah, there's going to be a lot of places, and I think if those places if people aren't getting them, you go, listen, here's last call for everybody in the state because things have slowed down. If you want one, we got them. You're welcome to come get them. It doesn't matter who you are, as long as you're over 16. Come on out, get a shot. We'll send buses. Just come and get them. But after 2 weeks, we got to send them to people who really want them. Because if you're still in your bunker and your MAGA hat and everything else, or you're, I don't know about you, Cody. I don't feel that I've been tracked. I don't feel like there's a transmitter that's been injected into my body. So that's good.
The transmitter's here.
Right. Yes, I'm tracked constantly. I've got devices all over my house.
Yeah.
So back to my point, the church has no right to tell people not to get a vaccine. It's like them telling people not to use birth control in countries where overpopulation and poverty and people are starving to death. But the church is saying, no, listen, you should have those kids. You can't use birth control. That's against God's law. Well, what are you doing to the people who are on the ground who are starving to death and having all that? That's different. That's a whole different thing. Those are man-made laws.
But Brian, but it's not like the church is saying these things. Like figures in the church are saying these things. Like the Pope has been relatively chill, and I think overall, like the top echelon of the Catholic Church has kind of been like, we're good.
The College of Cardinals they're the Pope's foot soldiers. They're the guys.
So there's some people that really, but like the Pope himself, I think has done a lot like less, like he's been a little bit more progressive, right?
Yeah,
and
I agree with that 100%.
I think some of the cardinals are being a little like, what are you doing? And then some of the bishops now are getting like really like kind of hardlined. And it's like, what are you doing? Like you can only move diagonally. That's your whole deal. Stop trying to move forward 2 spaces and then off to the side 1. Like you're a bishop, you move diagonally, and that means that you don't like get political or whatever. So like there's some I think there's some infighting in the Catholic Church that we're probably not super privy to. And it'd be cool if everybody could just get along and like follow the Pope's lead, be a little more chill, just be like, hey, be nice and like don't die, and maybe like get vaccines, and maybe other people won't die too. Like that'd be good, right?
Right. So. And listen, I'm not saying you have to change the dogma of the church because of people's opinions, because there's going to be people who disagree with all kinds of stances, and that's up to them. And they call them cafeteria Catholics. Oh, I agree with this, but I don't agree with this. And well, okay, we're in an age where that's how it goes. I'm not expecting the church to change those kind of things just because of the whim of the current tides. But I also think there's a responsibility, and I'm glad the Pope is on board with this, saying, listen, whatever you think, however problematic you perceive this to be, your well-being and the well-being of the world outweighs that. So get whatever vaccine you want.
Yeah. I'm a big religious person, or religion. I don't know. I like religion's great. I'm not an atheist. So Linda saying her opinion is that my paintings is that she says a crucifix over here and a crown of thorns over here.
Wow.
Interesting. My Catholic sister painted them, so I'll have to ask her about that.
Yeah. No, what's going on with that?
Religion is cool. I make it a point on my award-winning science podcast, Curiosity Daily, to break down the false dichotomy of science versus religion too. Yes. Like there are a lot of science came out of churches. Like the Vatican has an observatory. Like that's astronomy. It's not a like us versus them thing. And it really is super annoying when the cardinals come out and then they're like, well, don't do this vaccine. Cause then you're like, oh, well, religion versus science. But like, no, stop it. Please don't. Like I interviewed a lead astronomer at the Adler Planetarium, and she was like, a bunch of our astronomers are very religious, and go to church and everything. So like, I don't know. Please don't let that like horrible, stupid, bad stereotype that's not true. Like you're not Brian, but like if you're listening to this, I would just like to emphasize that it's not like the church, it's like the Catholic Church. Well, we're just believing God and we're aggressive.
Well, no, I don't.
You're not saying it. You're not saying that, but I just want to make sure that no one reads between the lines, because it's easy, I think, for anyone. It's like a thing you've heard, right? Like science, politics, religion, science.
The church does not. Catholics. There's Catholic-run hospitals where there's doctors doing all sorts of very advanced surgeries and technologies and science. So I don't disagree with that. Here, you know what? Here's the bottom line. This is where I come from.
The bottom line.
I have an issue with the College of Cardinals because I was a walk-on the football team and I got cut and I lost my scholarship.
I knew it.
Yes, I was one of the El Diablos, part of the College of Cardinals football team, which is ironic, the name and the mascot choice. But so I got a beef. It's a beef that goes way back, me and the College of Cardinals.
To my point about I don't think hashtag not all Cardinals, Tim said, I think it's actually a few very conservative bishops who are being asshats rather than any formal statement from the College of Cardinals. Cardinal Kupik has certainly said the J&J vaccine is okay. Super. And then he wants to know how much is tuition at the College of Cardinals and can he get them to forgive his student loan?
No, they're actually, the College of Cardinals wants 10% extra. They want your tuition and they want you to tithe. So the tuition is very steep at the College of Cardinals. Brian, how was I got because I work in the schools, Kathy. That's how I got the.
Kathy, wait, you didn't know he's 84.
I got my vaccine.
He's 84. He moisturizes.
I look good, don't I? I look good for 84. 84, and I have every comorbidity that they had on the list. Everything. I told them. I smoke, I'm fat, I have cancer, I have diabetes, I have hypertension, I have the boogie woogie flu, I have the rockin' pneumonia. I got it all. Give me a shot, my man. Do it. So anyway, so there you go. Wow. Heavy religion talk.
Yeah, you never knew.
QuarantineCast.
Marta in the chat. Also, the Vatican has been wrong before. 2 words for you, Galileo Galilei. Yeah, there's been some mistakes. What I find really interesting about European history is that the Catholic Church actually kind of after what happened I don't even know how to talk about it, but after the fall of the Roman Empire, the Roman Empire was so they were everything, right? The Roman Empire was like the America, right? I mean, that was what European civilization was, right? When they fell, the Catholic Church essentially kind of was the de facto step in to fill this massive, unbelievable void economically and politically and of everything, like education, basically the Catholic Church just they were there, and then people started to get into it, and then there was no Roman Empire, and then it was oh, the whole infrastructure of the entire continent doesn't exist anymore. Now what? And so that's why you have and yes, Marta in the chat also, Europeans were way behind South America and Asia. No. I'm just talking about Europe specifically. Yes, no, and South America actually. I don't know if they're behind South America, but there's a lot going on in South America that was phenomenal. They were so advanced in so many ways. Totally not arguing with that, right? I'm not saying, mathematics were. I mean, the Arab world. Oh my God! Everything they were doing, they were inventing math that had never been seen before, right? Astronomy, all these other things. So much cool stuff. China, God knows, they were doing so much. Anyway, but the Catholic Church, it's how did they have so much power? How are they in charge of everything? And then all this corruption started to happen because they were expanding into all these areas. They were well, we were going to talk about God, and now we're running taxes. What? Mm-hmm. Wait, what happened? So there was this weird explosion of just what the Catholic Church was doing, and it got perverted in some areas, which is where you get some cathedrals with just gilded gold and stuff everywhere, and just
every cathedral.
That's so weird.
That's the one thing you go anywhere in Europe, and granted, now I've only been to Spain and the UK, but every cathedral is. One, they're gorgeous, but it's oh my God, these things are huge.
But if you were a peasant who grew up in a mud hut and it's 1300, and you walk in and you look up and you see that, it is oh my God. So yeah, and then Sheen says, and then came Martin Luther. That's its own whole thing. I'm actually really into the idea of I want to actually start studying more of the Protestant Reformation, because right now we're in the age of here's why. This has a lot to do with today.
I was going to say, this is wow.
No. So today is the internet, right? So in the last 20 years, we now have the internet, and every human that's connected to the internet basically has access to every piece of knowledge from human history, right?
Correct. We're like Janet in The Good Place.
Yes. I don't know that reference, but I'm sure people get it.
Apt. It is apt.
So we look to history to learn about what to expect for the future. So at what other point in history did humans gain access to knowledge, profound, unprecedented knowledge that they never had before? The Protestant Reformation, because that's when, instead of just the clergy being the gatekeepers to here's what's in the Holy Book, they just printed the Holy Book. And then everybody had the Holy Book, and then they could read it and they could interpret it the way they wanted to. And this is just it just transformed the world, right? The printing press and the Bible being spread around. This was it, right? I mean, people now had the Word of God in their hands. We have the internet, they had the Word of God, right? So it's very comparable. So
did they have access to unlimited pornography as well?
Well, there was a prostitute in the Bible. Does that count?
I don't know. Now
It's like when kids, years and years ago would look at National Geographic to look at naked women, basically.
Yeah.
Like, 1300, 1500 AD. Yeah, I'm going to look at the Bible and read about a prostitute. That's the best they can do.
Eve was naked. Read it slower. What? Stop.
Welcome to Beavis and Butthead, 1600 Middle Ages edition. Anyway, that was
very
how
nice.
Did that conversation
I don't know, but I'm excited that you want to learn about the Protestant Reformation. I thought you were all just video games.
I am.
Is there a Protestant Reformation video game?
Reparations? You give the Protestants reparations?
No,
what do we do?
Reformation? What? I don't know. Is there a video game with that? Too much of the red blend, I think.
There's actually
not a euphemism.
There's actually a lot in Final Fantasy 14, which I play daily. There's a lot of repetitive tasks that you can do, and sometimes I'll listen to podcasts while I do them. And I'm thinking I'm going to start listening to audiobooks while I do these kind of like routine tasks that don't take a lot of brain power.
I love going. I used to listen to audiobooks all the time. I loved them. When I used to travel, I would go to the library and you could check out audiobooks on cassette. So they'd come in a big binder, like a video cassettes. And I would listen to cassettes of, Steinbeck and all kinds of stuff. I listened to The Handmaid's Tale on an audiobook on a drive back from the South, which is weird juxtaposition. But I used to love listening to audiobooks now. And I listened to, I went on Audible. And I got when we were coming back from New York, when we went to pick up Molly, and I listened to the Oral History of the Office, that book, on the ride back and then on walks after, because it was like a 15-hour audiobook or a 16-hour audiobook. But I like it. That's good. See, it's like, I want to listen to an audiobook. Oh, but I'm listening to the podcast. That's kind of the same thing. No, it's not. I get confused, but I like them all.
I'm driving to Minneapolis in a couple weeks.
Aren't you fancy?
Next Friday. Yeah, I'm just going to visit a friend. They're vaccinated. I'm half vaccinated.
You're half vaxxed.
We're all miserable and isolated. So just what the heck. Anyway, it's like a 6-hour drive. So we're probably going to do Dan Carlin's Hardcore History.
Okay.
Those podcasts are 6 hours long.
Now, are you worried about your lovely wife and her vax? Because she's not eligible for a while, right?
That's a very loaded question.
I'm sorry.
No. So realistically, she's young, she's very healthy. She's insanely healthy.
Sure.
Realistically, the probability of anything, two of my it's impossible, right? It's hard to talk about because like she could get it and die, and that's the scariest thing I can think of in my world. Probabilities are
low,
vanishingly low, because of the way that she takes care of herself.
And you guys have not been reckless. You haven't been out doing things, No,
we haven't been reckless, but there's virtually no chance anything happens to her. That said, I'm still very worried. I don't like going out places. I don't like when we go out places. I don't like any, I'm of the mind that if you can just not risk it, just don't. I'll order groceries. I'll sit around, which is weird because I'm an extrovert.
Yes.
But for some reason, I've just made that the case. I get the sense that, well, I know she's not of that mind. I think that she'd rather just be like, let me just go to the grocery store. And I think she's just burned out from the pandemic.
It's been a year, man. This is rough. Plus, in this year, she also gave birth.
Having said that, I'm slightly worried. Yes, but once I get the second dose, we're just gonna do whatever she wants to do. Honestly, if she wants to go somewhere, I'm just not worried about her, and I can't be the boss of her. So I don't think we're going to go to
Yes,
parties.
you can. You're the man.
No, I don't think we're going to go.
The boss.
I don't think we're going to go parties and stuff. But my friend invited me and I was just like, are you comfortable with this? She said, yeah. And I was like, well, then let's just go because like, I'm not going to hold you hostage in this house. I know you want to get out and I want to get out. And
they say, like you and your friends, they said that's exactly fine. If everybody's vaccinated, you do it and you just keep being careful. You're right. It's hard. I had this conversation with a friend of mine today who got his second dose the other day too. And I was joking about, oh man, that would just be out going crazy. He goes, I really need to ask you, are you going to do that? And I said, no, I'm just kidding about that. But, we'll all have our, he and I have our second doses. Debbie's going to have hers. My mom has her. I said, if you want to come over to the house, he goes, but what about, what if I come inside? I go, well, if you're inside, we'd have the door open, and we'd be fine. I said, I was envisioning being out on the deck. And since we've all been vaccinated, we'll be out on the deck, sitting around talking without masks. That would be great. I brought you up because I was like, this is exciting because Cody will be done. And we had talked about if we were vaccinated by our birthdays, we could sit around and have some of these Bourbon County stouts. And so that's, we could do that now. We sit outside and enjoy that. So, but I also said, I'm not going to go in places yet. I'm not going to go into restaurants. I'll go to outdoor patios now. I won't be afraid to do that as long as the place is being careful. If there's I'm not talking about the tents that are all enclosed. I'll go sit at a table under an umbrella outside as long as the tables are apart and stuff. I'll do that. But I'm still kind of, I won't be as worried, but I'm still going to be cautious because we still don't know everything yet. So I'm just going to, I'm going to listen to the doctors like I have through this whole thing. And if they say, hey man, once everybody is, if you and your friends are double vaccinated, you can have a small get together. Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Yeah. I'm up at the small get togethers. Yeah. Once we're both vaccinated, I mean, I will go to anywhere and interact with anybody that feels comfortable with us going.
Yeah.
So, presumably people who are vaccinated and then, some other people. So,
yeah. Cause listen, we want to see that baby bash his head on the fireplace.
Oh man, that baby's so
it's gonna
cute.
Be fun.
Dude, he's starting to eat now, and it's just like grab food and he doesn't eat. He's not eating, but he sits up in a high chair. He's 6 months old today. Happy birthday to him!
Happy 6-month birthday, Cody's baby boy.
Yeah, so he's 6 months old, and he's like. Yeah, he grabs his stuff. So we got him a high chair and he sits in the high. I mean, he's a giant baby. He sits in the high chair with us at our meals now. And we always give him one food. They'll try him, whatever. And he's like sweet potatoes. I mean, he's so focused. He's just grabs it and he's just totally in his own world. Tried a couple other foods. Tonight we tried asparagus. So he sits down there. He put it in his mouth and he just did this this horrified look and just spit it out. And he shook his head no. It's
watching man, I love asparagus. Tell him I love asparagus.
I do too. Watching a little 6-month-old just hate a food is so hilarious.
Did he do that thing where it's in his mouth that he doesn't swallow, he just opens his mouth and he's he can't get off his tongue fast enough?
Yeah, it's good.
He wants you to reach it because they don't know how to spit it out yet.
Exactly. Tom in the chat saying, I have to address this. Don't the vaccines mean you can? Don't the vaccines mean you can still get it and transmit it, but you are 90 whatever % not going to get severely sick? So you're right on the second part. The vaccines mean that your symptoms are going to be not severe. So far, they're 100% effective at preventing death. And the epidemiologist that I interviewed a couple weeks ago, renowned epidemiologist on my other podcast, said that even with the variants and stuff, if we only need to worry about variants and stuff if we see someone fully vaccinated get COVID and die from it, which we've not seen yet. So so far that's good. So yes, it reduced the symptoms. The transmissibility, we don't know.
Right.
A friend of mine was on a warpath this morning because 2 studies out of Israel, one is published in The Lancet, which is a extremely high respected medical journal in England. The other one is not peer reviewed, which means it has not passed like the science test yet. Like we don't cover peer reviewed. We don't cover stories on Curiosity Daily unless they're peer reviewed, because that's the standard. That's the gold standard for whatever. But these 2 studies out of Israel, one published from a medical facility using participants at a medical facility in Israel. The other one not peer reviewed, broader. Seem to indicate, and I cannot emphasize enough that this is not the consensus yet, but they seem to indicate that in addition to the symptom reduction, they do seem to significantly reduce transmissibility in both symptomatic and asymptomatic individuals, which means that it will spread less, if true. My problem with even mentioning that is that, like, I work in the science world, in the science communication world. And for me, who we have because of the way our podcast is structured, we don't need clicks. We don't really need like clickbait titles. We don't run stories to get eyes on our show. We really just kind of report on what we find interesting and we know is true. So we don't have any incentive for like big headlines, like Israeli studies show that vaccines reduce transmissibility. We aren't beholden to that. Even people who are writing for publications, very well-respected publications like Reuters, at the end of the day, they got to make money, right? So those get clicks. So I'm hesitant to talk about what other news outlets have picked up and our standards for science. And it's like science is a slow-moving creature. You don't run a test on a couple people and then you know everything, right? Like science is supposed to be slow. That's why it took us a year to get a vaccine. Just like throw a bunch of stuff at the wall, and if something sticks once, you're like, oh, that's the way things are. Science is not supposed to work that way. So, a study and a half, let's say, that came out of, Israel, let's say like 2 to 3 weeks ago, does not mean that like there is a scientific consensus and that we know what it does to transmissibility. But Tom, I think we should be optimistic and hope that it reduces transmissibility. And I'm hoping that by the time I am fully vaccinated, there's been some evidence that it reduces transmissibility because, then that broadens the scope of who you can see. But as of right now, there's no like conclusive, definitive consensus over like how it affects transmissibility.
And that is why they say, in the overall scheme of things, even if you are fully vaccinated, act as if you are not. Still wear your mask, still social distance, still wash your hands, do everything you've been doing, just which is what is my plan, but it gives you that little bit of security where you know that you're not going to die, and you're probably not going to end up in the hospital with severe, horribly severe symptoms.
Yeah.
But
because at the end of the day, it won't, like, at the end of the day, unless you're the first person who this happens to, once you're fully vaccinated, you're not going to die. At the end of the day, that's the point now. And so like, at least if Brian and his wife are vaccinated and my wife and I are vaccinated, we can hang out with each other willy-nilly, and I'm not going to worry about. I mean, my feeling would be like, let's go hang out all the time. You're gonna be the only people we'll see because you'll be the only vaccinated people we know.
Listen, I'm down with that. We'll switch off venues for our Bourbon County consumptions. Do deck at my place, backyard at your place.
We got it.
That's fine. If I'm with other people who are fully vaccinated, listen. Let's go. Come on over. We'll sit around. We'll have a good time. We'll get to see people. Maybe, God forbid, now I can hug my mom. In another week, she was all, oh man, she's revved up. She thinks she's going out. She thinks she's hitting the road. But she's like, then she'll, in the next breath, she'll go, but I know I still have to wear my mask and everything. I'm like, okay, go. You're not going to die now. I wash my hands of this. We've taken care of it. You're safe. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Have fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I know she's not going to die. I know Debbie's not going to die. You're not going to die, from this.
Sure.
How ironic would it be to get that second vaccination? You walk out, and you get rammed by a truck. Splat. Oh, that's like every bad movie.
It'd be pretty weird. Yeah. No, but like you said, like I just said, until my wife is fully vaccinated, I'm going to be a little bit on the cautious side for her sake. Because again, because we don't have Tom in the chat said, I think the majority of the public thinks with the vaccines, you can go kick light poles and hang around with maskless, mask people, non-vaccinated people, and everyone will be fine. Maybe 3 months from now, we will scientists will be like, that's the case. But like, that's not what they're saying right now. Cause they don't have enough data to be like, that's for sure the thing. And that's why I'm going to still be a little bit careful, just for my wife's sake. Like I won't pop over to you and your wife's place, even when we're all the three of us fully vaccinated. Cause not sure, not 100% sure if you're randomly asymptomatic and so am I, and then I come and give it to, these are vanishingly small chances, but I won't take that chance. Just wait another month until she's vaccinated and then we're all good. Yeah. It's a good time.
I mean, the way it looks now, it's that's really good news that they're saying it looks like May, which means by, if everybody gets vaccinated by May, a couple weeks after that, you're into the beginning of June. And then if that many people are fully vaccinated, we're at herd immunity. It's cool. How many beverages are you drinking at one time? You're out of beer. That's a problem.
No, dude. Last week I finished my beer, and then my wife, I texted her. I was like, do, 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 do.
Your phone is loud with those sounds. I don't like it.
It's very weird. So I texted her, and I was like, "Make me another burr," and she bought me another burr. Mistake. Dude, after it was the last 10 minutes of the show, and I felt like death. I was I feel wasted, and I can maintain my composure because I'm a very professional broadcaster.
Yeah,
I felt like crap, and then after I was like, I don't feel good at all. So I think I passed out on the couch.
Well,
it might have been the bowl of weed I smoked though. After
might have been. I put the bottle cap, or put the cap back on the bottle because I have gone through this much wine. So I'm done with the wine for tonight. You sit over there. Stop talking to me. Wine oh man, I'm all about the wine. We got a couple deliveries the other day. A couple cases of wine delivered to the house. So now we're stocked up.
What, do you have a subscription delivery service?
No, but we go through a company that has those, but we always wait and get the coupons on Living Social.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll order those and come. And so whenever we're really low, we go back on Living Social and we look for another coupon. And it's like, oh, okay. And you're still paying a ton for the shipping, whatever. Yeah. But it breaks down to $3 or $4 a bottle, $3 or $4 a bottle. And They're really good wines from all over the world. Like this one, like I told you, this one's from South Africa. They've got some nice Spanish vinos that come in, all different kinds. It's very tasty. So that's what we do.
We have a subscription wine delivery service. And my wife just got it. Yeah.
Wow.
She's been threatening to cancel it for 2 months. She's like, oh, they're always out of the good stuff. And then they send us the cheap stuff. And I don't really like any of it.
Oh, no. What do you get? Like reds and whites in the whole mix?
Yeah, they'll have a list of 8, and you pick 4 to order, but 2 of them immediately sell out. They must have 3 bottles of it, and then you have to pick from the other 6, and they'll have 3 out of 5 stars. It's where are you getting this wine?
Well, this one, it's it's Splash is the company. I'll give them I pay for my wine, so I'm not getting anything for free. But Splash is who we do it through, and you can get all red, all white. You can get a mix. We always get all red. This time Debbie was like, well, I'm going to get one because we've gotten the whites before and I don't like white wine. And Debbie's been hit and miss on some of the whites. But this time she's like, I'm going to get one that's all red and one that's half and half. And I was like, okay, that's cool. If you're going to drink it, then get it. If you like it. So it came, I said, oh, because one came one day and one came the next day. And I said, oh, which one's the mix? I got them all red. Why? You said you were going to get one that was mixed. I just decided I was getting all red. Okay. I'm not going to feel bad that you got, all red when that's what I like to drink, but you were the one placing the order. You could have gotten one red and one white. I don't care, but you never know what's coming,
Yeah.
and sometimes I'm excited because we'll get bottles of stuff that we really liked the last time. It was like, oh man, this was, because they've all been good. There's only been one or two where I was like, I didn't like this one. But the majority, 95%, they've all been, I've loved them all, but some I like a little more. And then when those bottles come, I'm like, woohoo, let's go.
I have 2 coffee subscriptions now.
I saw that on that new social media deal that you are a coffee subscriber. And I'm not going to mock it because I order my coffee, from out of state. I have my coffee shipped in. So I'm not going. Oh, you're sure.
From where?
Sure. Community Coffee in New Orleans.
Very nice.
Fantastic coffee.
Very nice.
Fantastic.
Well, look, there's 2 things about me. One is that I'm too late. There's one thing about me. The one thing about me is I'm too lazy to pick out coffee every time I go to the grocery store. I'm like price comparing, and then I'm like, well, do I want dark roast or light roast or blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, I don't have time for this. And I'm not even going to the grocery store anymore.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah. So I'll get a subscription coffee service that gives me a little variety. So I subscribe to Atlas Coffee Club. I'll put my promo code in the
you have a promo code.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat later. You save $10 and then I get $10. It's everybody wins. Atlas is cool. There's every month they pick like a country and they send you beans from that country. And so you get like Guatemala, Bolivia, Honduras, whatever it is, Mexico, Chile, Brazil. So every month you get one. So I would get 3 pounds of coffee from them every month delivered. It's all the same coffee. So if you don't like it, you're out of luck. But I had to up it because my wife decided to become a coffee drinker after we had a baby. I don't know why. Apparently you don't get enough sleep.
I know why. Yeah, because she's exhausted because you have an infant. That's why.
Must be it. So now she's drinking coffee. So we've burned through our 3 bags before the end of the month. I've had to run to Starbucks a couple times. No good.
Oh, no.
Anyway, well, I was just going to up my volume on Atlas Coffee Club, which we've been doing for at least 6 months, and I really like it. So I recommend it. But so it's fun because it feels like you're traveling because they send you the country's beans, and then they send you a little postcard, like a nice little postcard that tells you about the country of origin and the history of the coffee there, and give you tasting notes and like how to brew it. Well, this month they sent Honduras. What do you know about Honduras coffee?
Nothing. Well, I know it comes from beans. I know they roast it. Then they grind it up, or you grind it up. It gets ground up. Then you add water, and then you have coffee.
Or wait a second. Hold on. Wait.
Have you gotten any of the coffee that is filtered out of an exotic cat's poop?
No, I want some of that, though. Hold on. I need to make sure I'm not talking about the wrong country because I'm going to feel really bad if I am.
All right. You do know that if you have I don't know if you do yet, if you have a membership at like Costco or Sam's, they have coffees from around the world in a bigger bag. If you guys are going through a ton of coffee, you might want to have one of those as on standby. Just in a nice airtight container.
I have some on standby. That's why we're not empty right now.
Hills Brothers, what do you got? Maxwell House? Growing up, I saw my parents always had the giant, this is when it came in cans, a giant 5-pound can of Hills Brothers coffee. They drank coffee. So it was, and it wasn't they didn't keep it in any sort of container. They just had the plastic lid that went on the can. And every morning they'd make the coffee. And if we had a big, they had a regular coffee pot, but then they had a big, like percolator coffee, a big giant coffee pot for when there were parties. And at parties, they would make this big, like 3-gallon pot of coffee with the little spigot on the bottom. Like if you were at a cafeteria. So there was always a ton of coffee in our house. I thought it was gross.
Well, I have enjoyed all the coffee I've gotten from them. It's been cool learning about countries. This month is Honduras. One of the notes in Honduras was in the 1950s, larger scale coffee cultivation began to take off, but lacked the infrastructure to maintain high quality standards. So Honduras became a staple source for low quality blended coffees and quickly emerged as one of the world's largest coffee producers. After a hurricane devastated Honduran coffee crops in 1998, the government stepped in to reset and revive the industry. And they made some improvements. Well, apparently the coffee that we got from Honduras this month from Atlas Coffee Club came before they made those infrastructure improvements, because it is really bad. It's awful. I've had to put creamer in it. It's literally like the postcard says, like, Honduras used to make really cheap bad coffee, and then they sent us 3 pounds of really cheap bad coffee. So it's my first and only bad experience from Atlas, but every other one's been really good. Give you a little variety. They've got this cute. So anyway, but I ordered another 2 pounds from Trade Coffee that I'm going to get every like 6 weeks, and they send you a different roaster from the U.S. At set intervals, so you get to learn about roasters in the U.S. and how they roast their stuff differently. So it's kind of cool.
I want to jump in. Brian says, saw you guys are on my Facebook feed. Wish you all did podcasts. We do, Brian. This is available. It'll be posted tomorrow morning. It is available on all your podcast channels. So all you have to do is look up Quarantine, go to wherever you get podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, wherever you go. Spotify. Sure. It's on Spotify. And just say, hey, look up QuarantineCast with Brian, Cody, and Craig, and you can go back and listen to all of them. So the podcast is there. It is there, and listen at your leisure.
Brian, my internet's going to hiccup for a second because my VPN just kicked me off. So, but I'll be back in like 5 seconds if I disappear.
Remember that happened last week with the VPN. Yeah. I don't even know what VPN means, but Cody's getting kicked off. Percolator coffee is nasty. I have not, to be honest, Mike, I couldn't tell you. I don't think I was too young when they were percolating coffee. I haven't had percolator coffee. I am a Mr. Coffee guy from way back. Tom says, my parents were all about chock full of nuts. Yeah, I don't know. My parents were brand loyal to Hills Brothers. And then to be honest with you, I didn't drink coffee till I was on my honeymoon. I was 29. And that was the first time I had coffee. And that was because we went on our honeymoon to Jamaica. And in Jamaica, it's all about the Blue Mountain coffee. And everybody's like, oh, you got to try this Blue Mountain coffee from Jamaica. Oh, you got to try Blue Mountain coffee. Oh, my goodness. Blue Mountain coffee is fantastic. Fantastic. And then I drank that. And then for a long time, I would get my coffee at Sam's. And they had 2 different brands of whole beans. And pre-pandemic, in years gone by, they also had a grinder there. And then after a while, they didn't have the grinders, so I bought my own little grinder, and then I'd bring home the whole beans and I'd grind it up every morning. Zzz, like in City Slickers, there would be a cattle stampede through the house. It's horrifying. And then we started drinking about, 5-6 years ago, we started drinking community coffee. And it's in Louisiana, and it's just really good coffee.
Yeah.
So we just had some delivered. They're really good. It usually comes before the storm, it was coming like the next day or within 2 days. And they always have specials. And if you order over whatever, shipping's free. So it was like, oh man. And so that's it. We're enjoying a nice pecan praline coffee in the house now. Oh,
that sounds
delicious.
That sounds delicious. Speaking of food and drink, did you see the video that I emailed you? The short film.
I was going to talk to you about that.
I'm in trouble.
Because it was fantastic. How long did that take to do? And then you'll explain why. You'll explain. And I also, off the air, I have to ask you about, because I looked at that Cody sent me a beta thing for a new social media site. I won't blow any of that. But I got to figure out how to edit video, because it looks like I thought it was it's a video thing, which is cool. I thought everybody just started talking and made little videos. A lot of people are editing and they're doing all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, oh, I got to figure out how to edit some videos.
We'll get into that.
We'll talk about that. Yeah. But yes, tell about this project you're involved with. And I thought the video you sent me was phenomenal.
Good, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It was crazy good. Where I'm like, it shouldn't be this good. Who are these people? Who are these people that are doing this? This is, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's so I'm going to put in the chat right now.
That's right. You can put stuff in the chat too.
I don't even know. Dude, Facebook is so hard to navigate. Like I open it these days and I'm just like, where the hell is anything? It's impossible to. All right, I will do this.
Zuckerberg knows.
All right.
He
So
also
it's
knows what
gonna
you just said.
link to Cody's fundraising page for hi-jinks. Okay, so I'm participating in a fundraiser. If you'd like to chip in, I just put the link in the chat. It is called the hi-jinks. It is a
hold on. Sorry. Wait. Oh,
you turned me off. That was good.
Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. I tried to make you whole and have the whole screen, and somehow I hit the wrong button. So you are participating in the hi-jinks. Explain.
Yeah. So hi-jinks is in its 16th year. It's 100% volunteer driven. It's a charity food drive. Usually it is basically a bar crawl where people will wear costumes and all like their team has a shopping cart and they have to run around with a shopping cart, like collecting things at bars and drinking all day. Anyway, I participated last year for the first time. It was really, really fun. A lot of people, mostly in their like late 20s, early 30s, just dressing up really silly, running around with shopping carts and drinking and getting drunk. But we also collect donations and have a fundraising website page, which I just put on the Brian Noonan Show comments. So if you see the Facebook page, there's a link to it if you want to donate. But all the food, the donations go to fight food insecurity in Chicago. There's a component where people go to the Greater Chicago Food Depository to volunteer. The hi-jinks Foundation seeks to alleviate and solve the root causes of hunger through unique events like the hi-jinks. So my team has raised more than $3,000, which is amazing. The 4 or 5 of us. We're just trying to like feed people, make sure that people aren't insecure about their food. So this year, obviously, which brings us to the video thing that Brian was talking about. This year, there's no shopping cart race bar crawl because there's a pandemic happening. So they decided to make it into a film festival. So my team decided to do a take on Drunk History. Drunk History is a YouTube show that you may have heard of where someone gets drunk and talks about history. It's not a complicated concept. So for our version of Drunk History, in December, I got drunk. I drank, I think, 2 full Bourbon County Stouts myself. So you've seen me. If you've been a long time watcher of the QuarantineCast, you've seen me overindulge, especially in some of the early days of the pandemic. You know what it's like. So, but I got pretty good into my cups, and I told a story about Balto. If you've ever heard of Balto, the Alaskan racing animal that helped save a town by delivering vaccines. There was an animated film produced about it. Balto was around like close to 100 years ago, I think. So I told the story of Balto, and then we have a professional video editor on our team. She and the team kind of sat down and were like, okay, what can we use from this? What do we want to reshoot? And then they pieced together a script. So I'm telling the story and I do this voiceover of the story of Balto, and they filmed all the dialogue that I said. And it turned out, as Brian kindly said, very well. And if you would like to donate to the
crazy.
Yeah, if you'd like to donate to the fundraising page, you will get an email on Saturday when we post the video. I'll also, actually, this Friday, I think our editor is going to put together, we mentioned Togo, Mike. We mentioned Togo in the video specifically. I think we even have a person portraying Togo. So Togo's in there. If you want to donate, that's awesome. If you don't, obviously everyone's having a rough time right now, but if you want to pitch in, that'd be great. And you'll get an email as soon as it goes live. Friday, our video editor is going to put together like a minute-long trailer, a kind of teaser for it. And I'll post that on the Brian Noonan Show page so you can see it. And next week, during the quarantine cast, I'll be sure to post a link to the full video. I just can't share it right now because it's not.
Because I was just going to ask, because there's a link to your page on the bottom of the screen, so people can go there and make a donation. And on your Facebook page, there's a few stills, and I was like, I got to tell you, I don't know who. It was a team effort. The writing was great. The performances were hilarious. The syncing up of your voiceover with the actors who at times were saying what you were, the whole thing was just phenomenal. I forgot to email you back. I watched it. It was great. And I thought, I'll be honest, I opened it up and I was like, 6 minutes. I don't have 6 minutes. Yeah. And I watched the whole thing. I was like, this is phenomenal. It reminded me of the time a friend of mine, Pete Schwaba, made an actual Hollywood movie. And I remember going to the premiere. We were living in Los Angeles, and it was the not the Pope of Greenwich Village. The Godfather of Green Bay is the name of the film. It had stars, it had everything. So he wrote it. He directed it up in northern Wisconsin. And I remember sitting in the theater that night going, oh my God, a guy I know just made an actual movie. And that was the same as I'm watching your thing. I go, oh my God, this is not, it doesn't look like somebody shot it on their iPhone, even though they might. Everything was professional quality. It was very funny. It was, you were very good in your, getting drunk in your little room there. It was really good. I don't know how you pulled it off, but man.
I felt like I did very little. Like I literally, like Brian, I had a few notes in my on my screen, and I literally just got drunk and told the story. Like none of it was scripted. There was like one line. They were like, "Can you go back and re-record this line?" But the rest was literally, I just got drunk and talked. And it turned out.
So then they took your story and then shot everything else to match it up?
I talked for probably like 10, 15 minutes. So they cut it down to like 5.5. Right. And then, the juicy bits. And again, if you've seen Drunk History, I don't know if they always do this on that show, but basically, like, as I'm voicing it over, they're acting it out. But as like Brian kind of alluded to, their dialogue syncs up with me. So I'm talking, but like their voice, their mouth is moving. But it looks.
And then Bob said, I have to go back quickly. And Cody's saying that, but Bob's mouth is going,
yeah. So
very funny.
But anyway, I will be sharing it regardless next week. Because the idea is I sent an email to a few people that I know. And the email really wasn't like, hey, give me money, for this fundraiser. It was really just like, here's a 6-minute break from everything. Like pandemic it's boring and isolated, and a lot of people have our routines. We've got our, I do this for fun, or I watch this show, or here's some sports I follow, but like something to break up the just monotony and the, no one's going to the movies or anything. So it's, the idea is to entertain people. So I'll share it next week and it's full, but ahead of time, I'd like to also, encourage you if you'd like to participate in the fundraiser. I'm like $40 from reaching my goal. So I'm pretty close.
Yeah, there's a link in the chat. There's the link at the bottom of the screen. Marta is the queen of the callbacks. Marta asked you, was it raining the entirety of the movie? Now, that is something, how long ago did I bring that up? That I was watching a movie and I got in a Twitter beef with the director because it rained the whole time. That was months ago, Marta. Kudos to you. That's
amazing. I thought she was referring to like the fact that like the Balto story happens like during a blizzard, but like no, that was oh my God,
that's a months old callback.
That was good. That was really good.
Marty, you keep better track of this than we do. And no, in Cody's film, it was sunny. It looked a little cold. There was a blizzard happening, but there were different weather patterns throughout the whole thing, which I enjoyed. I was not distracted because it rained on Balto the whole time. It did not do that. Brian, hey, listen, look, we got a new subscriber. Brian downloaded Spotify and downloaded a bunch of the episodes. Nice. So he's going to sleep now. Well, good night, Brian, and thank you for doing that. That is, Marta says it's a gift. It is a gift or a curse, Marta. I don't know if it's more a gift or a psychological impairment, but listen, we appreciate it either way. We're not poo-pooing it. I think that's terrific. And I do like when people pay more attention than we do.
Which is usually
pretty much the whole. Maybe that explains a lot. That could explain a lot.
It could.
Yes, congratulations on that. That was really good.
Thanks. I'm glad you got a kick out of it. You should share it with the wife, because you should share it with the wife.
I will share. Yes, I will share it with the wife. I will share it with Molly. I will share it with everyone I know.
Yeah.
Everyone. Marta's siblings hate her good memory. I can see that. I can see that at times. One kudos for being involved in giving back. That's what I meant before when we were having the religious discussion. You're a guy, you do good. You do good things.
Give back when I can.
Yeah. So the wife's not bringing you another beer. That's sad. I have to ask, I've been working very hard to be more balanced and understanding and not let things bother me as much as they used to.
More like hardly working.
Right? Okay. For those of you watching, I apologize for Cody's insane eyeballs right up to the screen.
I apologize for everything.
For those of you listening wherever you listen to this, oh my God, you're lucky you're just listening. That is. I like that you don't even notice that I took my big sweatshirt off.
I did.
Oh, okay.
That's because why would I comment on that?
Because so you're paying me back because I didn't notice you got a haircut. Is that why? I see. All right. So I'm trying not to overreact. I told you last week how much I've been working in the alley, trying to clear the snow and the ice out of the alley, how I injured myself. Yes, my knee still hurts, by the way. How everybody, the neighbors were all trying to get the alley to the point where we could use it. And it was, and Mother Nature helped a lot. She was melting out all kinds of things. So every day last week when it was warm, I would go out and I would chop a little more ice. Everything was looking good. Now, kitty corner for me, there's a family that had never used their garage through the entire snowstorm. Everything had piled up in front. Now, I was not throwing snow in front of their garage. It just, from all the snow we had, they had a giant pile in front of their garage door because they never used the garage.
Sure.
So the other day I'm out and I'm in the backyard and I'm picking up after the dogs because as things start to melt, the bounty that is my dog's excrement becomes clear to me. And the path that I had shoveled around the yard for them to use to do that is now melted. And there's a lot of, this is the grossest time of the year. After it snows a lot and it starts to melt and the dog stuff has been there for a long time. I've talked about this every year because it's horrifying. Anyway, I'm out cleaning up a little bit and I hear shoveling and I'm thinking, well, who's shoveling? The sidewalks are clear. The street looks pretty good. I know when I left earlier, the alley was perfect. It was terrific all the way up and down. Even the spot that I got stuck when I hurt myself at the other end, that was all clear. Everything looked good. So I hear this shoveling. Then I go and I'm going to take out some garbage. So I go out I'm taking the dog poop out to the garbage cans. I walk out in the alley and there's the guy across the alley, kitty corner from me, shoveling out this big mound that's been in front of his garage door. And I give him the obligatory, how's it going? And he's like, hey, how's it going? Instead of shoveling and putting the snow off to the side, where nobody, he's shoveling everything just out into the middle of the alley. Just shoveling. So now I go to take Debbie for her shot on Monday. The alley next door to me now has big ruts and drifts again because he shoveled everything out. He just pushed it out into the alley. And I kind of lost my mind for a minute. Not to the point where I was going to go to his door or, shout him down if I saw him, even though I might have, or made a passive aggressive comment. But I'm proud of myself because it didn't ruin my entire day. It just made me angry for a moment, a couple moments. Then when I came back and I have to now navigate ruts again because he's put the big drift now right in the middle of the alley again. I'm like, and I guess what that bothered me. But what bothered me more is that people don't take anyone else into consideration. when they behave.
Hmm.
This guy had to see that the entire alley was cleared.
Here's what
he
you
had
do.
to know that the only reason it was cleared is because everybody else had shoveled stuff out of the way. He saw the piles where it wasn't all melted was where we had piled the snow between a fence and a garage or off to the side, or in my case, directly across from me. They don't have a garage, so it was all pushed up along the chain link fence. He didn't care. So he didn't really do much because he only moved the snow like 3 feet off the apron into his garage. So he still would have to drive through, and he still hasn't driven out because all the ruts are from people going up and down the alley, not from him backing out of his garage. So it was an indictment on our society, Cody. That's what I'm saying.
Here's what you do. Next time your dog's got to go to the bathroom, take him out on the leash, have him drop it right in front of that garage door.
I can't do it.
Why?
One, because I'm a good citizen.
Are you bigger than him?
Oh, yeah.
Then do it.
No, I don't want to. I can't be because somebody will go on Nextdoor and they'll post a picture of me letting my dogs poop and not pick it up. So then I'll be on Nextdoor.
No one cares about Next. Are you on Nextdoor?
Oh, I'm on Nextdoor.
Mike just killed me. Oh my God.
That was last week, wasn't it?
I don't know why that we have a show in which someone can comment douche canoe 2 weeks in a row.
Yep.
And it works
every time.
That's where we're at.
That's what if we had something to give to you listeners other than free entertainment, we would, because some of you go above and beyond.
I love so many comments. Oh, there's
Marta wants somebody to just put the snow in front of the dude's door. It took everything I had this week not to go out and shovel those ruts to get them out of the way. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I've shoveled enough. So now they're pretty much gone. So it's a moot point. But it still was an indictment on society for me. And yes, I am on Nextdoor. You used to be listen, you don't get to ever mock me for being on Nextdoor because you're the Gladys Kravitz of Nextdoor. You're a guy who actually has made comments on Nextdoor. I just read it.
Wait, how do you know?
Because you told us. You told us about all the old comments you made in your old neighborhood.
Or did I?
I don't know. Now I can't remember. That's weird. I thought I knew. Now I don't know. Huh. No, but I haven't commented. I almost I get the emails, from Nextdoor when somebody puts something new up. And I almost went in and posted something. And then I went, dude, what are you doing? You're going to go on Nextdoor and become one of those people who are going to, Nextdoor is good if hey, there's been 3 burglaries on our block. You might want to watch out. Or, hey, somebody was seen breaking into a garage. Keep an eye out. That's what Nextdoor is good for. Not, there's a lot of people complaining about too many people with too many cars, they're taking up 4 spots on the street, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to be that guy. So as much as I almost wanted to be that guy, I decided I wasn't that guy. So I didn't post about it on Nextdoor. I didn't confront the guy. I didn't yell and scream. I cursed a couple times under my breath. I did call him names, just in my own car. So I thought I handled it okay, but I had a right to be a little upset, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I would have, done the exact same thing as you. Basically nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
But I would have done it.
Come out here and complain about it.
Yeah. That's what we do.
That's exactly what we do. This is what we do. We come on, we come out here and we air out all our grievances because nobody is in front of us and we're not too worried about it. So
I'm fine with that.
They're never coming to get us. I was telling a story the other day on WTMJ. And by the way, I'll be on again next Monday, March 8th from 6 to 9 again. But I was telling this story and somebody texted in, hey, do you think they're listening? And I never think anybody's listening. I should, after the moped incident, I should know people are listening.
You should.
I should always know people are listening, but I don't. I know people are watching and listening, but I don't think he is. And if he is, good. You were an ass. So, that's the way it goes. If you're listening and you know that because somebody's going, even if people don't know where I live, they don't know where I live. They know I live somewhere in Chicago. Somebody else has shoveled their ice into the alley. Maybe it's somebody who listens to this and they're like, oh my God, does Brian live across the alley from me? Was I the ass? Yeah. Even if you don't live across the alley from me and you did that, you're the ass. So, welcome to the club, jerk.
Boom. Not Clubhouse, though, to be fair. Someone in the chat was
Clubhouse?
I don't know. It's something podcasters are obsessed with. It's some new, very exclusive social media app that we're not part of. But no, there's a different one that Brian and I are on the ground floor of because we're big deals. And I'll say how to. I just got texts about it. Look at that. I just looked at my phone. I don't know why I picked up. Oh, because my phone vibrated, which it doesn't usually do.
Okay.
What's going on?
They say they shut it all down.
Nah, not yet. Not yet. The more I post, the closer it'll get.
I've seen some of your posts. If he is listening, he will not recognize himself. That's probably true because most asses don't consider themselves asses.
That's true.
It's like bad drivers. Every bad driver thinks everybody else is a horrible driver and they're a great driver.
Which way does this screw in and which way does it screw?
Righty tighty, lefty loosey.
Okay, it's tighter now. Cool. Look at that. We all learned something today. Every one of us learned a thing we didn't know before.
I actually had to say that the other day to myself as I was replacing a toilet seat.
Oh, yeah?
Righty tighty, lefty loosey.
What'd you put on the toilet seat? What'd you replace it with?
A different toilet seat.
You didn't replace it with a plasma screen TV?
Why would I want to poop on a plasma screen TV?
Why wouldn't you? I'm really excited about changing the angle of my mic. I don't know if you could tell.
I can tell.
Straight into it.
I'm excited because now it blocks half your face. So
I know.
I have to see your eyes.
And I kind of have to stand up for it to look straight on into the camera.
I think if you're smart though, you'd flip your microphone up the other way so that you could give Shure their good product placement and perhaps get a nice sponsorship for us.
I know. Where am I?
To us by Shure microphones. Even though I use Sennheiser.
I can also turn up the bass so I sound really good.
Wow.
I'm Cody from QuarantineCast.com.
Now you're getting a weird electronic buzz underneath.
Am I?
You were when you were doing that crazy voice.
I don't hear anything. When I was doing this voice, you heard a crazy electronic voice. Boom, thing.
Yeah, I did.
Well, I didn't hear that, Brian. But what I did hear was that the Quarantine Cast will be back next week for another exciting edition on March 10th, 2024. What day is that? Hold on.
Year of our Lord 2021? Yes, the 10th.
Oh,
right.
I'm normal again. We're good.
No, you were right. So we will be back next week, as Cody said. Will Craig be back? Will Craig's self-imposed exile continue? Will we find out where Craig actually is and what he's actually up to? I'm guessing no. Is the sex dungeon open? Will he come on dressed as the Gimp from Pulp Fiction and tell us all about his new business endeavors? I don't know any of the answers to those questions. All I know is Cody and I will be here. We will upload a new episode tomorrow. But in the meantime, if you just can't get enough of us as a team, then you need to get more of us individually. You can hear Cody every day as one of the hosts of the Curiosity Daily podcast. CuriosityDaily.com. Is that the website? I always get it wrong.
Yeah, it is. That's the one.
Right. CuriosityDaily.com. It's part of the Discovery family of brands. A lot of big science and tech and lifestyle news, all within a few short minutes. You can learn a lot in just a few minutes. That's our slogan. What's coming up this week? And well, I know you said earlier you record a lot and you don't know, but what's do you know what's coming? Like what's on tomorrow?
It's weird because I just finished editing the next couple of days of episodes. Friday, no, I don't remember. It's just like,
well, that's
really good stuff though. Really, really, really good stuff.
CuriosityDaily.com. You can subscribe, and then you don't have to worry if Cody doesn't know what's on it because you'll get it every day, and it won't. You won't have to rely on Cody. You just rely on yourself to listen to Curiosity Daily Podcast. I will be back, as I mentioned, on WTMJ next Monday night at 6:00. So if you, I'll remind you here. Again, tomorrow this will be posted on every platform where you get your podcasts. So tell people, subscribe, like, all whatever the kids say to do, all that kind of stuff. Thank you for watching again tonight. Thank you all for the comments. We really do appreciate them. We love seeing the comments. Some of you are terrifyingly good at your recollections, and it's nuts. But we do appreciate it. Any parting words there, Cody the G?
Oh, Friday we talk about why you can't suffocate by holding your breath, and why being angry makes you more likely to believe misinformation.
Wow, I'm glad I've curbed my anger, because I could believe a lot of misinformation. All right. Well, so listen to Curiosity Daily Podcast, curiositydaily.com. I will talk to you. We will talk to you again next week. I will talk to you on Monday. Cody talks to you every day. That's enough talking. Have a great night. Thanks a lot. Bye, Cody.
Thanks for joining in, listeners. It was fun. Bye, Brian.